Florida voters on Tuesday chose Congressman Charlie Crist as the Democratic nominee for governor. Now, you might recall that Crist was once the Republican governor of Florida. Then he was an independent. Now he's a Democrat, and he will go head-to-head against GOP Governor Ron DeSantis this fall. In his victory speech, Crist called DeSantis, quote, dangerous, unquote. Charlie Crist joins us now. Great to see you, Congressman. So one thing I want to ask you, today's Gallup survey has President Biden at a 44% approval rating, the highest he's been in the Gallup survey for a year. Will you campaign happily and contentedly if President Biden comes to Florida?
Be delighted to, of course. He's a great man. He's a great president. He's done so many wonderful things of late. And, the latest example, making college more affordable for more Americans. I think that's a wonderful idea to forgive some debt up to $20,000 it'll be for some people. That's pretty outstanding. What he's done in relation to inflation, we've seen now 71 days consistently of the price of gas going down at the pump. That's wonderful to have that occurring. What he's done overseas as it relates to Ukraine, I wear this pin with the American flag and the Ukrainian flag every day. And, they're fighting for democracy over there. Presidents brought together NATO, the EU, and brought in 2 new members to North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's just tremendous. And this little country is fighting off Russia. And it's really something to watch. And I think the president is doing great. Love to campaign with him, of course.
Congressman, as you know, other Democrats are a bit more squeamish about that. What would you tell Democrats who are on the fence about having President Biden either come to their state or their district?
Well, I would embrace him. That's what I'm doing. I think he's wonderful. I know he's wonderful. I know him. He's a good, decent man. And, if you can have somebody like that at your side who happens to be the president, the most powerful man in the free world, are you kidding me? No, I look forward to President Biden being down in Florida. He left me a wonderful message yesterday that he's eager to do that, and I can't wait until we're able to schedule it. It'll be wonderful.
Congressman, you mentioned the president's student loan forgiveness executive order. Larry Summer, former Treasury Secretary of the Clinton administration, Jason Furman, an economic advisor to former President Obama, both have said this will cause inflation to go back up. You mentioned inflation and this. You don't see that happening?
No. Look, you know how expensive it is to go to college today in our country? It's absurd. I mean, it's ridiculous. And what's President Biden doing about it? He's giving students relief. Isn't that what a good public servant is supposed to do? Help people out in a time of need, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, the golden rule that I strive to live by? No, I don't think it's going to cause inflation. It's going to cost lower for students to be able to get a college degree. That's a wonderful thing. That's called great public service. That's called caring about.
Congressman, I want to ask you about what you said at your first press conference after securing the Democratic nomination. If I have this correctly, you said those who support Governor, meaning Governor DeSantis, should stay with him and vote for him. And I don't want your vote. If you have that hate in your heart, keep it there. You stand by those remarks?
Well, look, I'll take anybody's vote. But seriously, if we're honest with each other, if somebody's a staunch supporter of Governor DeSantis, the odds of them voting for me are pretty slim. But there are good moderate Republicans, though. And I hear from them every day, Major, and they're telling me, look, I'm a Republican, but I'm going to vote for you. And I am damn glad to get their vote. Every vote matters. Every vote is precious. And anybody who wants to vote for us in this campaign, I'm delighted to have the vote. And I look forward to it. I'm a uniter. I want to bring Republicans, Democrats, independents, all of us together. We're all Floridians. We're all Americans, and do what's best for the Sunshine State. And that means lower the cost of living here. Have a governor that will actually fight property insurance companies and how they're gouging our people. Have a governor that respects women and would respect their right to choose and make their own decisions about their own body and their health. Have a governor that respects African-American voters and make sure that, you have drop boxes in minority communities throughout the state of Florida, unlike what the governor has done. Governor DeSantis, that is, of course. I look forward to a lot of changes in the Sunshine State. People deserve better than what we're getting. We have a governor who's laser focused on running for president. I mean, let's be crystal clear about this. And what he's doing to try to achieve that Republican nomination is advocate for open carry for guns. We need to ban assault weapons. Florida's been really stung horribly by the gun issue. What happened in Parkland, what happened at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. And the governor wants to have open carry in our state. Is he out of his mind? I mean, that's insane. You know, we had to ban assault weapons, have background checks that actually check backgrounds, and have red flag laws nationwide. I think that would help that issue and save a lot of people's lives.
Congressman,
right
as you've heard Governor DeSantis describe it, he wants this campaign, at least in part, to be a referendum on COVID. He said he kept Florida free, kept businesses open, minimized restrictions, and you opposed him every step of the way. Do you believe COVID and how it's being viewed in the rear view will be central to this campaign?
I didn't oppose him every step of the way. You know, please don't mischaracterize.
That's his word. I'm just characterizing his phraseology.
Gotcha. My bad, Major. I'm sorry. No, you know, well, what he did is he opened businesses. There's no question about it. He did what you described. And guess what happened on the flip side of that? 80,000 Floridians are dead. So there's a record for you. Now, what I think you can do is you can have businesses be open and you can practice safety at the same time. These issues are not mutually exclusive of one another. You can use your brain and listen to scientists and do what's right to protect people and open businesses in an appropriate fashion where you don't risk life. I mean, do we want to have safety first and make sure that we're taking care of our citizens, advocating that they get a vaccine because it makes sense, advocating that they wear a mask indoors? He didn't do any of that, none of it. And 80,000 people later, you know, that's pretty horrific. Over 6 million of my fellow Floridians have gotten this pandemic. And we don't yet know the terms of, you know, long COVID. You know, so no, I don't think his record on this is sterling. I don't think it's admirable. I think it's appalling. And I think that you don't have to be, you know, black or white on this thing. You can listen to science. You can appropriately open business and do what's right for all people and have a much better result than as many people that are now dead in the Sunshine State. It's shocking to me.
A conversation that we will continue with you. Congressman Charlie Crist, thanks so very much.
Thank you, Major. Great to be with you. Have a good evening.